This is this is a interesting thing. Today I wanted to make a video on how to improve yourself, because I just want to share. It's a bit of a different thing. I don't usually do videos. Usually it just ends up being part of the video where I'll be ranting about a subject such as that. But this video today is something that I think I can finally actually make, because I myself have achieved a point where I understand how to be better. Which might not make sense, but it's a little everyday. I wanted to make this because I know people that I know personally don't listen. Well, I know in reality don't listen. But I want this video to be for an audience. Like, if you're tuning into this video, it means you obviously have either some interest or don't know what the fuck this even is. And either way, I have something for you. Because I know a lot more than people realize, a lot more than people give me credit for. People say that I don't know anything. People have said that in the past, and that annoyed me. But today, I just want to start teaching you all, my viewers, because I can make you powerful. Because power is not a concept of how much you have or what you have. It's what you can get people to do, what you can give to others. That's what I want to share today, is how you can become proficient at anything. How to become better at something, which is also the background video is this is all live, by the way, but because I'm doing it live and all that, I'm going to be playing at the same time. So I'm currently playing Space Engineers, for anybody wondering. Let's go ahead and begin the actual task of me teaching you what you came here for, or did not come here for, but just didn't know what you were getting into. You see, I don't even know where to begin. I think what I would start with is the subject of how do you go from being bad at something to good at something, like what mentalities are good and all of that. I mean, there's a lot of things that are useful to know, but of all the things that I didn't know that would be useful to know is that you are capable of more than you realize. And sounds super cliche, but you literally are capable of more than you realize, and it's all your mind is holding you back. You can't necessarily unlock your mind per se, but I mean, that's a way of describing it, is you can work your mind to be better. Like, your mind sucks, okay? It sucks. But it's gonna try to work against you at every corner, and that's one of the first things that I didn't know that I know until I found out one day that my mind is my biggest enemy. And so, to actually learn how to deal with that and to find the solution to that problem was kind of like complicated, because I didn't really have much confidence, which is a big thing. It's not something you can like gain, but like, confidence is this word. Like, if I told you to be more confident, it wouldn't mean anything, because it's not actionable advice. You see, confidence is not like something you can just be like, oh, hey, I'm more confident now. No. Confidence is to be loud, which makes no sense, but for me, I just like to yell. Because if everybody can hear me, and if I'm thinking, well, it doesn't matter what I say, because at the end of the day, right? If you're gonna be confident, it doesn't matter what you say. Just, you can know that nobody else is gonna stop you. You're not, like, you can say whatever. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you've said. You can say to somebody, the sky is red. And as long as you say it in a way that's, you believe it, that's what matters. But then, how do you make yourself believe that? And then that's all kind of, you just lie. Just lie. Which is probably the wrong thing to say. Just lie. But, reality, you're lying to yourself to become better. That's not necessarily what I did, really. What I did was a bit different, actually. It's kind of hard to explain what I did, but pretty much I realized that nobody else can do anything to me. I'm untouchable. And if I'm untouchable, it's not untouchable as in, oh, well, haha, I'm able to get away with anything. No. It's untouchable as in, it doesn't matter what they think of me, because at the end of the day, they have no control over that. It doesn't matter who's thinking what, because I am better than what they're thinking. And if you just, all you dwell on is what they think, or what other people think of you, then you dig yourself into a hole. And I let myself do that for a while. But the way I got out of that was I just learned that it's okay, because nobody else can do anything. Nobody else is out actually able to be me, to do anything, because only I can do something. And so it's all in what I can do. And that's the first thing, the first and most powerful thing to teach or learn, is to come up with confidence. Because confidence, that looks good. It looks good when you are confident. People will look at you and go, I want to be like him. Because you're the loudest presence. You're the guy everybody's going to see at that point. And that's why I'm sharing this, because I want to make you, whoever you are, wherever you are, whoever you may be, better. And it's interesting, to say the least. You may not have interest in this, but it is to say, at least I have tried. So, what exactly could I share besides this? Well, see, I realized that, and then the next thing I could realize was, you know, maybe not just is it that, like, if I present myself as somebody who is, like, powerful, nobody's gonna mess with me. So to convey power, you yell. To be loud is to be power, because that is the image of power, is somebody who's loud. The loudest person in the room is the most powerful person in the room, right? Not only is it the loudest person in the room, but because I look at the people around me, my peers, and I go, this guy is so quiet, I can't even hear him, and I have to ask him to say it again and again and again. It's that you're above and beyond them. You have to, it's a mentality of you're better than others. But at the same time, you have to be humble and realize that just because I want to be loud, just because I want to be the loudest, doesn't mean I actually am better than them. We're all on the same level. It's my responsibility to understand that and be diligent with how I handle myself and how I present myself and how I take care of, like, those people around me, my peers, and the people above me to some degree, but for the most part, I don't need to even worry about them. They won't listen to me even if I told them this to their face. But I think, honestly, a lot of them, well, yes, I would say with confidence, a lot of them don't have what it takes to be actually competent and live up to the values they need to live up to. And I shouldn't say that, but I'm gonna, because I don't care. And my peers have the same opinion. And I'm not saying that as in all my peers, but one or two have said these things to me, and I say that they are right. And even though I agree with them and find more than that they are right. I find that agreeing with them is kind of, I could just find more, which is a problem to me. But all it comes down to is that it's not taught correctly. It's not the current situation of how leaders come to be isn't what it needs to be, because if it was, I wouldn't look up and go, that guy is, he says the words, but he doesn't put the meaning behind the words. He doesn't truly actually care about what that means. Just in one case. I mean, it's not to say that everybody's that way. Some of them, they just don't care. And that's because of how they have been treated for so long. Because you get treated a certain way, and then you eventually learn to live that way. And if you don't throw that way that you live away, then you will continue to do things in such a manner as to effectively continue to do things the way you were doing when you need to be taken care of and having more responsibilities than you had before. It's why I personally am kind of turned away from some of them and don't like a lot of them. Because I see that how they say the words of their creeds and everything and how they act, and I go, these do not line up, some of them. Others I say, if you're gonna learn something, you need to understand what it means, and if you're gonna, you can't just be a calculator, really, in some cases. I mean, I see it as a good leader is somebody who you can not only look up to, but you could follow off a cliff. Not only could you follow him off the cliff, but you can follow his every word to a T, not because you're afraid of him, not because you are being told to, but because you're genuinely listening, because you genuinely care about what this guy has to say. And that's not something that I've seen. This is a sophisticated topic that I shouldn't really talk about. And I'm going to talk about it anyway, because if I talk about it, what do I have to lose? I have nothing to lose. The only thing I can lose, they don't even know what it would be. And such, I discuss this because I believe it's important to stand up to people who are like that. And it's not me saying, oh, they're wrong, or oh, it's to say that a lot of what I see is not good. And I want to be the voice that takes care of my brothers around me. So that's what I'm doing with this. But it's not this. This is kind of serious for the content I usually make, um, and all. So here's one of the biggest words or biggest guiding phrases for anybody who's going to try to be in any kind of position over anybody, okay? Because if you're going to be in any position over somebody, the first thing you have to understand is that people are human. Human beings are intricate and complex, and treating them in certain ways gets you certain things from them, certain aspects of them, certain things that you can learn about them. It tells you a lot to see how people act in different scenarios and how treating people different ways and what results you can get. You can really experiment, and experimentation is the key and cornerstone of humanity. You don't learn anything without doing science, and science is all based on developing a hypothesis about, oh, if I do this, then he will do this. It's the chess of learning somebody. But at the same time, while I have these ideas, remember, all of my ideas will change with time because I am too human. So, such words and all of this is good, but what's better is that you understand that because humanity is the key factor in everything, you need to account for it in everything. You need to understand humans, how to work with them, how to do it effectively, but also, at the same time, as Sun Tzu says, to pretty much, well, not in Sun Tzu's works, but pretty much to, if you're gonna have any kind of power over somebody, you should also understand that you can't just let them do whatever they want, you know? And Sun Tzu says something about, I actually can reference it because I actually have the book on my desk. I can reference it exactly. It's within the first chapter of the book, in laying plans, and he says, the commander stands for the. Okay, that's good though. It's in his first paragraph, 4. So in 4. These are the heaven, or no, he's talking about basically a moral compass, or like all the things you need to account for when you're laying plans. And he says, the moral law, heaven, earth, the commander, method and discipline. And a lot of what I know, I can draw from books. I can draw it from experience dealing with it. So it's not just like in one of the first sections when I was speaking about is moral law causes people to be in complete accordance with the ruler. And that's to say that when if I could follow somebody off a cliff, they are a good leader. And so a lot of what I see is not really, I wouldn't really want to follow them off the cliff because they're not that great. But the question is if I say, oh, I want you to be able to make me follow you off a cliff, right? To one of them. That's not actionable advice. What's see, that's not the, let's just say that again, actionable advice. If you're gonna give advice, make sure that you can act upon it. But I don't know the answer to that advice. I'm just saying what the problem I believe is. And I could find the answer to that problem. But I don't really know what that would even look like. Because I haven't seen it myself. I've never met anybody who I would say, I'd follow this guy off a cliff. I think I'd be that person to most people. But I don't know why. I think it's my personality. And that's probably the reason people would do that. But we were saying that to discipline. Okay, so Commander, method and discipline. So by method and discipline are to be understood the marshalling of the army in its proper subdivisions, the graduations of rank among the officers, and maintenance of road by which the armies may reach the, or by which supplies may reach the army, and the control of military expenditure. Where else does he say? And he also says, which that is not what I was looking for, but he says in one section, people will not follow you if you are too strict with them. But if you're not strict enough, then they won't necessarily follow you either, because they will be a cluster. They'll look at you and go and laugh at you, because every single thing you say doesn't mean anything, because there's nothing behind that. There's no arm there to say, or there's no gun to their head to say, if you don't do this, then this is going to happen. And that's not, that's metaphorical. You don't put a gun to their head, but basically, if you want to get to the point where people will follow you, you can't let them be off the leash, but you have to give them a little bit extra length. And so that's why, like, it's a thing that a lot of them don't understand. Not to say that there's not enough discipline, but it's to say that the balance of it isn't necessarily there. But at the same time, I shouldn't say these things. Yet I'm still going to. Because I know my place is not to say these things. I'm the only one who can say them. Because if I say these things, maybe I can help, but I can't. Because I understand that it's not my place to be to be criticizing and saying such stuff. That's not to say I just should probably stop. But should I be afraid and then stop because I'm afraid? No. I'm not gonna let somebody walk on me like that. And that's more advice for if you want to become better yourself. See, to better yourself, you don't let people walk on you, because the second you start saying, "Oh, okay," and just going with the status quo is the second that people are walking on you. And when people walk on you, you know what you've gotten yourself nowhere. You've gotten yourself nothing, and that's a sad thing to see. And that's why I'm telling you, don't let people walk on you. And what I mean is, if they're gonna say shit, you better give shit back. You better say, "Oh, really? Because this, and this." And turn it around. Because you shouldn't take shit. At the same time, you have to be humble to understand when that's what you need to do and when it's not what you need to do. Because there's the aspect of it is there's a time and place for everything. And the time and place is the ultimate thing for any person to understand, is you act a certain way in a certain place, and if you don't act that way, then you look funny. And if you look funny, you get yourself into issues. And if you get yourself into issues, then you're probably not gonna have a nice day. And so that's why why I say time and place is the biggest thing that a lot of people my age, like 18 and 19, don't even understand. But at the same time, my whole life I've pretty much had to understand time and place, because I've lived a different life than pretty much everybody else on this planet. Nobody's lived the life I've lived. A life of stupid nonsense, pretty much. But at the same time, I eventually got to the point where I was not having as much stupid nonsense. And that's how it currently is right now. Not having much stupid nonsense. The stupid nonsense is unnecessary. You don't need stupid nonsense. And I always argue that efficiency is the key. I like to say that if we're not efficient, then what are we doing? We're wasting our time. And that goes into kind of what's bothered me today to make this video is efficiency. Not to say that... Okay, well, I'm gonna just be pretty blunt, but I don't like how my time is being split right now. Because my time's pretty much going to, oh, hey, I'm just gonna stand around and do jack squat because I need to look like I'm doing something, and I'm really not doing anything because all my shit's done. And because all my shit's done, and I don't really want to help those guys out, I don't want to help these guys out. And this is a bad mentality to have, really, because when you have the mentality like this, that's the mentality of like shamming. It's a mentality of doing the wrong thing. It's not something you should do. Yet, it's like the only option because of how everything is structured, and it's structured poorly. And that's why I argue with this. I like to argue and question because even though it's not my place to do so, I'm the only person who's going to do so because I don't care anymore. There's no point in caring because I'm not going to get anything if I just go with the flow. Because I need to get things. There's things on my list of tasks to get, and I'm running out of other things on that list of tasks. So I need to start getting things because getting things gets me places. And this is the mentality I have for this. There's many mentalities you can have. You could say, oh, well, I want to do this, this, and this, and get this, this, and this done. That's what I say every day, and then I get all that shit done. And then I go and say, well, I want to do this side activity. And I like to do side activities. And doing those side activities is kind of, that's how I learn and get smarter. Because I like to improve myself on my side. I don't just go drink or like play video games constantly. I spend at least an hour every day trying to learn something new to better myself. Because a Colonel Charles Oliviero says in his book Praxis Tacticum to a good professional wants to better himself every day. And while I may not have said it as elegantly, those are almost his words. Almost his exact words. So, a good professional wants to better himself every day. And that's what I attempt to do every day. For an hour. If I don't have time for an hour, I give it at least 15 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever I have, I will try to put into self-betterment. Whether that be at the gym or into like reading and stuff. Reading is the bread and butter of self-improvement, but it's only good if you're able to actually understand more than just, oh, I'm reading to read. Because I'm not just reading to read. I'm reading to learn, reading to comprehend. It's to understand the mentality or the way you would learn it is to read because you know that the words on the page have a bigger meaning than just this guy did this thing and said these words and did this stuff, or here's how you can do this. But you don't learn if you're just going through the motions. You know, you have to actually want to do it, and that's what I do to learn, is to read. read and spend lots of time in the gym. And that's when it bothers me, is when I don't get that time. Because the second I start losing that time is the second my time is being thrown away or wasted. Even though probably is not necessarily considered my time, I consider it my time because it's the only time that I have for me, where I'm not around other people, being bothered with things that are almost seemingly pointless and unnecessary, because they could be done in better ways or executed differently. Tasks that, if you use your brain, are not very difficult. Efficiency is the cornerstone of everything I believe. Now, I'm not teaching you to be me. I'm not saying I am like some kind of super guy or anything, or something, some kind of gotcha complex or something like this. No. See, what I'm saying is that these are the things that I value, and when it comes down to like how to improve and how I have improved, you have to understand those things too. I like to read a lot. That's why I'm well educated. Well read, well educated makes you smart. And the smarter you are, the more you should outshine your peers. That's not to say that I don't outshine them already. I'm doing more than, well, not really more than they do, but I'm doing more advanced things than they do. And I'm at the same place as they are. Same level as they are, technically. And I want to do more advanced things, because the things I'm doing still aren't advanced enough. Which is to say that I believe I could do better. Could give them better. But that's not my place to say that. Because I believe that I could give them better. I know that I could give them better than what they get. Because one of my other values besides all of that is not just the one I've mentioned earlier, but to treat others how you should want to be treated, how you want to be treated. You treat others how you want to be treated. It's like a golden rule. Like, don't punch somebody in the face, you'll get punched in the face back. Or, well, actually, it'll get worse if you punch somebody in the face. You'll probably get shot. At least, I'm not gonna elaborate. But it's kind of more to it than just treating others how you want to be treated and stuff. It's all valuable as you do. See, treating others how you want to be treated is not wasting their time. That's the way I see it. When I have the capability to waste time or not waste time, my goal is only efficiency, because I want to be done. And so if I want to be done, then I'm going to make sure that they get done. And if somebody has to stay behind, it's going to be me to make sure that somebody's there to do whatever stupidness needs to be done, so that way at the end of the day, I can be the one to get it done the fastest. Because I know I can. Because I know there's a better way to do things efficiently. And the only thing holding back efficiency is their fear that they're going to do something wrong or mess it up or do something in a way that's, I don't care. See, when I have the option to initiate before I'm told to and begin doing the things we need to do before we need to, then I do it, because I know that the sooner it's all done is the sooner I get to go to do all the studying I get to do, to learn all of the cool shit I get to learn in my free time that I'm not going to learn there, because somebody's going to say, hey, why aren't you studying this thing I want you to study? Because that's, in my opinion, pretty stupid. What if I tell you that, what if I tell you that studying that is less beneficial to me as studying this other thing that's getting me 10 times the learning value, giving me something that's actually fairly entertaining to do, and isn't necessarily just absolutely going to nothing. It's just like at that point you're just burning time for the sake of burning time when you could be cleaning stuff or doing shit and getting it done. Because at the end of the day, we could get off at 1300 every day. I could make that happen. Because I know how to do that. Well, I can't say I know how to do it because I'm not in the position to do it. Because I don't know what goes into that. I know that I could theoretically get to the point where I could accomplish such goals. And that is to say that I definitely would eventually be able to do it. Even though technically, or tactically, I suck. That's why I believe I know more, know better, know, even though I should not say such things. And I will keep reiterating that I should not say such things, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter that I keep reiterating that. It's not going to save me at the end of the day. At the end of the day, all of this that I'm saying is for the purpose of making sure that it is clear that I know a lot more than people believe that I know, or have believed that I know, or have told me that I know. Oh, you know nothing. Well, you see, I know quite something, and maybe you truly know nothing to know that I know nothing. Maybe look at me, pay attention, and study, because I know a lot. That is a lot of what I would say to them. And so that's kind of goes into my current ideology of like not letting people just like walk all over me. This thing I got kind of into is just kind of letting people say whatever they want to me and all that. I don't do that anymore. I'm just like, okay, whatever. Okay, well, you know, I'm just not gonna take some shit. But some things I'll be like, okay, whatever. Other times I'll be like, really? That's cool. Yeah, that's cool. We'll see about that later. Like, that kind of attitude is, it's a good attitude to have, I would say. People will tell me that's a bad attitude to have, but that's wrong. That's the attitude you should have is, oh, really? Well, and counter it. Be smarter, because letting people just say whatever they want to you and just kind of walk all over you and be like, oh, well, you suck. Just say, oh, really? How about you explain that? Elaborate. Go into detail. Sometimes, a lot of times, people don't even understand. People will think there's no mitigating circumstance, but there's really, truly things there that are mitigating to, like, you know, like, there's been times where I've walked into bushes and people are like, oh, well, you weren't looking at me, or like, oh, you weren't, you know, stuff like that. Because there's mitigating circumstances to such things. I don't want to elaborate too much. See, the second I start doing that, then, because I know my friends will watch this. I know that as a fact. I know that my friends will watch this, and then things go up from there, because I know a lot. I know that things go up, things go down, and that's, even though I'm explaining a lot of information about, like, how to be better, or, well, it's kind of, it's hit or miss right now. We're really not explaining much about how to be better. It's, okay. Okay. Well, the point was to kind of try to do it, right? Right. Okay. But like, there's mitigating circumstances because you see, even though I might be in a bush, you don't really understand how tangled up and how stuck I am in that bush. Then you're telling me, oh, you just need to power through the bush, which again, actionable advice is a real thing. People will give you advice and then they will say, do this, but they won't tell you how to do it. Like, they'll be like, oh, you should just know this. Like, you should just know what this advice is. Yeah. Like, they expect that kind of interesting aspect. It's wrong to say that. How is it wrong? What am I saying? It's wrong to say that give advice that has no merit. Like, if you give somebody advice and you're just saying, oh, do this or do that, and then you don't actually elaborate at what you actually want them to do, how it's actually gonna help, or like what you're trying to explain. Like, you can tell me to do to power through a bush, right? Or like power through, like, I'm not talking about like a garden bush. I'm talking about, this is out in like the woods and it's almost like jungle thick vegetation with thorns and shit, and I'm carrying shit with me. It's heavy, right? And you're like, power through it. And I get that we all have to be together, but you could just slow down or just be like, be smarter and just understand that there's mitigating circumstances. Like, I can't speed up how fast I'm going through a fucking bush. Like, what am I doing? You're telling me to power through it, but you're not showing me how to power through it. And even when you show me how to power through it, how are you even teaching me how to power through it? Because that is the cornerstone of like what a leader needs to do, is teach, not just show or tell or any of that. But if I give advice, I don't just say, or I won't just say, oh, you need to do this. No. You need to teach and verify and all of that, which is what a lot of leaders that I see fail at, is like, and it's kind of just this universal thing, is that a lot of them will say things and then it's not teaching or showing, or you need to teach, not just show or tell. It's to teach. Teach is everything. It's to show and tell, and then engage the person how to do it. Because you don't just tell somebody a bunch of numbers and expect them to remember that. Oh, the numbers here are from this statistic right here. This is super important, right? You know, it's super important. What are you doing? Telling the guy a statistic that, right? It's super important for him to know it, but you could teach him it. How do you teach him that number? Or you could tell him to look at a sheet of paper and memorize all the numbers on it. He's not going to do it because of one fact. That fact is simple. Staring at a sheet of paper is not engaging. And so to teach somebody, you have to engage their mind in that activity in a way that is either fun or memorable. Fun or memorable are the two key words. There's other ways too. Like, to hands-on is fun and memorable. Like, to go and construct something in like a woodshop class is fun and memorable. What I'm building right now is going to be think just a light wheeled vehicle. So we'll call this the LWV. But that's just a side note of what I'm thinking of with this. I just couldn't really think of what to do with that. So something that's not necessarily useful in every aspect of every career field or everything, but if you teach somebody a pattern and you get them to the point where they can memorize it like it's muscle memory, just teaching them that pattern over and over again doesn't build experience or doesn't build necessarily, well, it does build experience, kind of, because doing that task over and over again is building experience. But really, it's more to a leader than just doing a task over and over again. Like, I don't know. This just blanked my mind. This just blanks out of my mind. Oh my gosh. Like, I also say that there's intent in words. Okay, this is my own spiel that I have learned, is that if you say words, there's intent. There's meaning behind words. It's not just, if you put words on a paper, you mean something. Sometimes you can put words on a paper just for the sake of putting words on a paper, like haha, or like write out haha, fuck you. Like, you know, there's probably no meaning behind the words if you write them on a paper. Probably just a joke. But there is meaning behind words. There's values to words. And so you use words to mean things. If I say somebody's stupid, I could actually have said he is uneducated or misguided. And such words, like, even though it's got less of a punch to it, like I'm not like hitting him, giving him like I'm not hurting his feelings or something. The real value behind saying words in such a way is not to, well, you still demean them, but at the same time, you're giving them more, because you're getting to the root of the problem. It's not that he's stupid, it's that he's uneducated, or maybe he can't comprehend, or maybe he's misguided, and if those are the things that are the problem, understanding the root of the problem is important, because then a leader is able to use the roots of the problem to create and mold a better fighter or a better worker or whatever it may be. And it's to that I say a lot of them kind of fall short on that, because that's well, some of them do understand, but others don't. It's not something, the understanding of words having meaning and then understanding how it's the root of the problem that may be in the meaning of calling somebody a certain thing. To say that, oh, somebody is stupid, or what I say is uneducated or misguided, because the root of the problem is that they're not educated or misguided. If they're stupid, that is the problem. And then you could also say stupid is not necessarily the same as, like, if somebody's an idiot, because it means two different things. Idiot is a pattern of stupidity, whereas stupid is to say that that person is dumb, or like that person is not smart. But an idiot would be, they have a pattern of being stupid, which it's different than necessarily of, like, how I understand the word is kind of abstract, I would say. Like, the words have meanings, but maybe I can't really fully understand the differences. But I know there is differences between the two words, and how I say the differences. They basically practically are synonyms, but they have slight variations, and they have slight deviances for a reason, because you should be, like, if I'm looking up at somebody who's above me, they should be using words in a way that is not just to say, oh, hey. Not just to say, like, what am I thinking? Not necessarily to say that the words are lapsing my mind at this time. It's not necessarily to say it, okay, understand intent and meaning are the roots, and it's to say that you should have intent with your words. If I say to do something, but if I tell you to do something in a specific way is the difference. It's the attention to detail in the words in the language. It's the verbiage used in such a way that you have projected the words in a way that is not only understandable but has more meaning. But it's overlooked by not just leaders but by the people, the subordinates too. It's this kind of like you don't really focus on the words. The words have the meaning though, and the meaning is not just, oh hey, like, I want you to do this. It's, hey, I need you to do this. Want and need are different words. They have different meanings. If you need something, it has to be done. If you want something, you just want it to be done. But besides that, it's not just how you use your words, but the intent behind them. But you can also say your vocal characteristics. Like, if I were to say something in a specific tone of voice, like if I drop an octave, it means I am very mad. But if I am just yelling, I just yell usually. Because I can't hear. Can't hear. But also, it's more clear for me to hear. It's not that I can't hear, it's that the words are not clear enough for me. You have to speak clearly, with clarity, to be proficient at getting me to understand. And to get me to best understand is to be proficient with your words. And this is something that a lot of people lack. Not just even leaders or subordinates, but everybody I've met sucks at actually speaking words. To say, like, if you want me to do something, you don't just say, oh hey, move this item to here. You make it clear what you're saying with your words. And that is kind of a criticism that might be dumb, but at the same time, it's not dumb because it's actually a valid criticism of most people. Most people suck at this. Most people say, here, go do this, and then do this, but then I can't understand what they're saying because they're not saying it loud enough that I can hear them over the sound of my own thoughts. That's a joke, but it's really a solid advice to speak loud and clear so I can hear. Not just I can hear, but whoever you were talking to can hear. People suck at this. They talk casually at low volumes. Like, hey bro, what's up? How am I gonna hear you? Like, I'm not even talking as loud as I talk normally. I only am talking like a 10% value of as loud as I like to talk. And I usually hit around 50% of my, well, not even 50, I hit 20% is my typical talking volume. I want to be talking at 100% volume at all times, because to do that is to convey confidence, clarity, and everything that you need to have. And none of my peers do the same things, which I hate, because I tell them every day, hey, how about you get loud? I want them to be loud because I wanna hear them. I wanna hear them thousands of miles away. I want to hear them. I don't just want to be the loudest of them. I want them to also be loud. But the thing is, I can't get them to be loud. I don't have the capabilities. And even if I did, what am I going to do? I don't have those answers because I don't have the experiences with such things of how to get somebody to actually do something. Because I can just say, oh, well, I would do this to get them to do this thing. But then I'm just saying it because I don't actually know it. Like, I could say, well, we could just do some corrective action on this guy. Make him lunge to the hospital. That's going to get me into trouble anyway. Not an ideal solution. When I need to be coming up with optimal ideas. Because that will be the separator between me and most people. And this is a self-reflection, too, for me. This is me finding what I need. Me and I. The biggest parts of the team. Finding what I need. So I can be better at what I want to do. Which is to lead. Because I am done following people who don't value efficiency. If efficiency is not valued, then, well, so be it. Because that is a stupid way to live. Efficiency... No, that's not a stupid way to live. It's a misguided way to live. And it's the most sophisticated words to use is, it's a misguided way to live to be inefficient. You should be trying to be as efficient as possible so that way you can get all of your shit done and leave. You should never, ever, ever not be that to that goal of I want all of this done so I could be going to do all my other shit that I want to do today. Because every day I have a list that's like 5 miles long of tasks that I am going to attempt to complete by the end of each day, which is practically impossible because of, well, how they don't value efficiency. I say that with every meaning of the word. They do not value efficiency. Or maybe they don't comprehend how to get efficiency. It's not necessarily, maybe they don't have the experience to get the efficiency. And I've read a lot of books and things, so I can say that I don't necessarily have every single answer. I don't know how I would get somebody to be more efficient. I can just say that I only have the unactionable advice, the necessary things that don't need to be heard, but definitely should be heard, so that way, at least, hopefully, they could kind of do something with my knowledge. Because I have usages for my knowledge on how to do better. And I don't want, should definitely never share my knowledge, but it's time to do so. To actually improve. This is too tall. How tall am I gonna make this even? So we need to raise these seats 1 block up. Yes, that's a solid idea. Why am I building the whole thing out of... Well, it has to be solid so it doesn't fucking explode. Okay, it should be that tall, right? No, because then these seats are like way up here. And they need to be on the same level. Like this is like way too tall. That guy is way too tall up there. What else can I think of today that I would like to talk about? We could talk about all kinds of things. What if I do the main seat like this? Just put it in this as the driver's seat. Alright, boys. We're going for a fucking ride on this shit. The shit wagon. It's awful. That's not high speed at all. Put in some high speed seating in here, bro. Anyway. I think I've talked about most of what I want to talk about today. So I guess we're just on the building, finishing this shit up. But I like efficiency. Efficiency's good. So I found myself into a current position, a new position that I have not been in yet, where I'm actually able to have efficiency again, which is to say that I can get things done as fast as I would like, and as long as nobody stops that or puts a fork in those plans, I will be great for not dealing with any of their nonsense. Because I am a no-nonsense guy now. I will not take any nonsense from anybody, and so anybody who has nonsense can pretty much take their nonsense and shove it back inside of the hole it came out of. The one underneath of them. It's not bad. It could be better. What the heck is this? What the fuck, dude? What are you looking around for? He's looking for his keys. He lost the keys to the car. Get that fucking rock out of the sky. It's creating a shadow on my beautiful ice lake. That's also another thing, is that even though I know a lot, I can't say what everybody else knows, because I'm not everybody else. I can only say that what I see is what I think I know that they know, and not necessarily that I know that they know this. Unless I were to test them somehow. To test and see how they perform in certain scenarios. Like I said at the beginning, people are dynamic. Humans are the most dynamic thing on the planet. That's why we exist in such a large quantity and such abundance. Because we have learned and adapted and thrived for so long. We've become kind of an apex of the animal kingdom, if you will. So it's important to understand how dynamic that is. What am I gonna do with this? Could just put him like a little lower into it, I guess. And you don't have any space for the O2 H2. It's kind of sucks. Gotta be honest, this guy sucks. Kind of sucks. Fucking school bus. This is supposed to be the super vehicle of all time. No, but testing people to understand more about them is that's the way you figure out how good somebody could be. But there needs to be a competency test to determine how competent somebody will be at all of the things that are necessary, not just let's look at this thing, let's look at that thing, but let's look at every aspect of what you need to be able to do to make sure your guys are good, to make sure everything's good, to do this, and that correctly without any fails, to make efficiency even happen, really. Because without that, then you run into the trouble of, well, we don't actually have people who know what they're doing. And that leads to incompetency. And that's not to say incompetency as, oh, this guy really can't do his job. It's to say that he's doing his job, but he's doing it so poorly that you can look and go and say, well, I don't want to follow this guy. This guy sucks. And that's what one of my friends told me. He was like, I've already said I don't like this guy. I just don't want to be here anymore. I was like, dang. That's how I felt at one point. And I understand where this guy is. Well, I think I do. And so I say to myself, I could help this guy. I don't have any of the capabilities to do so at this time. But even if I don't have the capabilities, it doesn't stop me from attempting to help my friends, right? I've always given advice on how they can become better at cardio, which is a thing that is not necessarily complex, but everybody is like, oh, just run more. But again, like, we're into actionable advice. You tell somebody to run more, you're not gonna help them. You give them a plan to run more, you're barely putting any effort. Really? Take them to run. Or maybe even, what I like to say is to truly give them good advice. To like tell them, hey, here is what I know about how I got good at running. Here's how you can do the same thing. And then let's go ahead and execute this. Let's go ahead and do it. Let's go ahead and make you a better runner. Let's go and take you to where you need to be so you can get to the point where you're able to do what you need to do, or what I need you to do. Because you don't need to be able to do this. If you need to be able to do this, then what the heck? I need you to be able to do this. I don't just... See, that's where it's kind of different. It's not necessarily that you don't need to be good at running, but I want you to be good at running because that's what I want. That's what I would want. I want everybody should be good at running. It's too easy. And saying that, 90% of the people will not even understand, because it's saying that running is too easy is like, some people will be like, oh shit, I suck at running, it's hard. I say it's too easy because it is. It's too easy for me. I am good at running, but you may not be good at running. And to get better at running, I can tell you what I did to get good at running, and then I can take you to run. But I'm not gonna do that. That's out of sight, the scope of this. But you don't just say, oh, well, do more running. Hey, come run with me on this day. No, you go out of your way. You go to where they very exist. You grab them and take them from where they very exist. Okay? Okay? It doesn't matter. Like, oh, you go out of your way to go put the time in to go and get them and say, hey, come running with me on this specific day this weekend, okay? Because I know we're all going to be off on this specific day, okay? And then you take them to run, and you start at their pace. You don't go super fast. You go and say, all right, you get in front of me, and you're going to run. And then you go at their pace, and you tell them, and you run them as far as you can run them. For as long as they will run, you run. You don't take them on a simple path, necessarily. You take them as far as they can run, to their very limit. And by that point, you've eventually reached the point where, all right, we're done. You ran 5 miles today, and you said, oh shit, I don't want to run 4 miles today. And then you tell them they didn't necessarily do the pace that you want them to be able to do, but they ran. And that's all that matters, because to become good at running, the lifestyle and everything needs to be correct to become good at running. People don't take care of their lungs, and they complain to me about that, and I go, wow. Wow. Well, maybe if you took care of your lungs, you could be good at running. They tell me, oh, hey man, hey, I wish I had lungs like yours. This quote is very, very awesome. to me. Like somebody once said, hey, I wish I had lungs like yours. And to that guy, he's pretty stupid because he still does the same exact shit that I wanted him to, or was asking him to quit. Because I know that it's not good for his lungs to be doing such things. Well, I don't have control over that. And I can't have control. The second that I have control over that is the second that a lot of people are going to be very, very sad. Because the second that, like, I change too much is bad, okay? Like, I'd get in trouble. I'd get in trouble for that. Like, there's a limit to what you can change in somebody's life. You can't just be like, okay, you're gonna change your lifestyle, your very existence, right? No, he can do that. It's his decision whether he does or does not. It's highly recommended by me to him that he does quit doing such bad things. Because from me to him, from one period to another, I want him to be better. And so to make somebody better, you don't just go, hey, quit this, or like, no, you make sure that every day, like, you could get more involved and be more active in helping them. Get them more resources and tools that they can use to better themselves, not just what you can provide, but what others can provide to them. Because you can't provide every single asset that somebody needs to help themselves, because helping themselves is not a real thing. They don't help themselves. And you can't help them either, but there's others who can provide that help that exist out there. Third-party resources, different things like that exist. And that's why for like leaders, it's like they could be more involved in providing the help that those people need, as far as like, you know, if you want them to be better, it's like still they're up to their choice, but you provide them those resources and they're more likely to use them. And if you take your own personal time to get them to go do those resources and to get them engaged with those activities that are good for them, it might be a waste of your time, but their time, or that they are more valuable than your time is at that stage. When you have a position where you are like in charge of people and making sure that they are doing well, that's the key critical piece of that puzzle, is that you are then responsible for what they are doing, and you have to take care of and manage and be the dad they never had. And to say all of that is quite a lot of information I just kind of said. But essentially, in order for them, they won't go out of their way to help themselves. You have to help them. It's just like with running. You have to take them to run. You have to go out of your way to show up and be like, hey, I know it's Sunday, but I'm here right now. Do you want to run? And if they don't want to run, you can't make them necessarily. But there's other things you can make them do. Like, again, still, to get people better at running would be one of the primary goals I would have. Or get people, if somebody complains, oh, I suck at this, or make somebody better at that. Because when somebody complains that, oh my gosh, I want to do this, maybe here's something somebody else smarter than myself told me a long time ago, but I always remember, because that person is somebody who I could look up to and say, this guy is smart and knows what he's talking about. And he said, if you suck at something, it means you're bad at it. Or if you don't like to do something, it means you suck at it. You're bad at it. And so to get better at doing something is essentially all you need to do to enjoy it. Because you don't enjoy playing like a video game because of you're instantly good at it, right? You enjoy the video game for two reasons: the fun of playing it, but the fun of getting better at that video game. Because you start at a set skill level, and that might be good, might be bad. But if you want to, like, if you hate, let's say you hate your job, right? And so if you hate your job might be bad. Or you might just suck at your job, or suck at making your job fun, or finding ways to enjoy your job. Which I kind of had that problem where I was like, get good, and the game will be good. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. But when it comes to like that, and I just lost my train of thought. My brain just shut off. It's too late for this, and I've run out of energy drink juice. But I have to continue anyway because I'm sharing my vital information at this time. Even though it's really not a complete model ever. It's never going to be complete. So much of this information must be worked on. Why does it keep raining? Jesus is back to screw me over yet again. The first lightning bolt wasn't enough. The second one, probably not enough. Third one is going to be the charm maybe, but not in this video game. Admin tools. What am I doing? Weather? There, no. Weather. Remove weather, because stop. And it's now the heat of noon. Okay, perfect. So, what else could I talk about? I don't even remember what I was talking about. I could go back and be like, well, I was talking about this and this. Or I could just be smart and not do that. Yeah. I think I was talking about something about, like, I don't know, taking care of people, but that doesn't make sense given the context of what I was thinking. Oh wait, no, it was being good, or like if you hate your job, you gotta get good at your job. It also goes with efficiency, because there's two reasons you might hate your job: is because it takes too much of your time, or you're just not good at it. I think in my case, I just didn't have much time, but I've managed to get to the point where I am doing a job where I'm in control mainly of how fast I get things done, and then I still, while I may still be at work, I can just be doing like absolutely stuff that I enjoy doing while at work, instead of just, that aspect is important, I think. And it's something that could be missed and not looked at with what it needs to be looked at. It's like how well you manage to what are the words? If I had an energy drink and this was the morning time, I would be explaining this at like 10 times the capacity, but I'm getting tired. It's okay. We have until 8 p.m. Because 8 p.m. 2000 is my universal bedtime, because then I can get up at 4 a.m. and it's like I have 2 hours before and like 2 hours after, which is nice. Time management also is important, because people who manage time are like people who are efficient with time. And being efficient is the key to like how much time you have. If you're efficient with all of your tasks and you get them all done, the more tasks you get done in the less time, and then also training people to be more proficient at getting the tasks done as fast as you can, because like people are slow at executing a specific task, then getting them to do that task is probably gonna be difficult. So I say, if I had to actually be like, oh, we're gonna go, alright, so today we have to do this, this, and that. But what I'm gonna tell, or what I'm gonna do beforehand, is I'm gonna have them learn how to do this, this, and that, to the point where they're proficient enough that when they go to do it, we have a guy doing this task, we have a guy doing this task, we have a guy doing this task. They know their tasks very well. Each of them could probably do the other's task, but we say, you're gonna do this task, you're gonna do this task, and you're gonna do this task. This guy cleans, this guy makes sure that it works, and then this guy does the papers. And then what we do from there to get the tasks done as fast as possible is we have groups working. So this group is a group of 3. This group of 3. And you start with the easiest shit first. The shit that you don't need multiple people to clean it and do all the checks and things on it. So obviously only things that you would really need to really have multiple people cleaning is a machine gun. But that is not something that's super not super difficult to have one guy clean a machine gun. It's just not ideal. But you should be getting shit done fast and efficiently, because then you have more time to get done. And then if you're going to complain and be like, well, I want to be done today, hurry up, that's not actionable advice. And this is the statement I always say, is actionable advice. Because there's a lot of advice people give, but it's complete shit and not actually something you could execute on. It's complete baloney and bogus. All of those buzzwords apply because it's true. It's just, you can't tell somebody to get good at something because it's not real. That's not real. That's what does it mean? Get good? I don't understand what you mean by that. What do these words mean? And it's like, it's to train somebody to be good, then is the other aspect. At the same time, I like a lot of the experience, I think, that I need to have if I want to be better myself. Because I need to get experience at this and understanding, and I need to find people with the experience to be able to learn such things, because that experience is what makes up. Like, I know a lot, but I can't say a lot because I can't confidently confirm a lot with what I know. Even though I know so much, the little bit that I don't know is going to hold me from being able to successfully provide a lot of the aspects that I have failed to account for. Like, some things I've said, oh, well, I don't really know this because I don't have experience with this. I've already mentioned such topics previously. Like, there's things that I don't know, but because I have all the knowledge I do know, I have knowledge. I just don't have the experience to put knowledge together. And it's something that in the book I've been reading is, like, you can be very knowledgeable, but if you have no experience, it means nothing. And if you have a lot of experience, but you have no genius behind that, you're pretty much useless as well. And so with those two aspects kind of being super important, then you have like a better idea right? Like of I don't know. You have more that you can do with that information. I don't know. I can't focus right now. I can't focus. I've just gotta keep rambling. It's a rambling day. Today we will ramble about 5 billion things today. Yes. We're gonna put a guy in the seat here. Nice. Noise. Huh. What the fuck are we doing with this guy? Just put him in a seat right here. The ultralight fighting vehicle. I mean, it really is an it is an ultralight fighting vehicle. I mean, there's that. Well, actually, we're not just gonna put him up there. We're gonna put him on the spindle, as I would like to call this. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Put him on the spindle, bruh. What the fuck? Yes, stand there floating perfectly. Give a turret controller in there. Once it hits 2000, I am going to go to sleep. But I think I've talked about 90% of what I can think of at this time. Again, like if I could get more experience with like such topics, maybe I could have more information on how to apply what I know. I don't know the application of what I know. I know what I know, but I don't know the application. That's some advanced baloney, but we can figure that out by just figuring out how I can learn how to apply what I know. Applying what you know is how you learn better. Let's go to the turret controller. Doing the same thing, living that lifestyle, teach a lot. Custom turret controller, setup actions. The azimuth rotor is an advanced rotor. The hinge is the elevation, and the camera is none. The weapon is Gatling. Add weapon, and now if I press the button for custom turret controller and hit control, press 1, now I can just holy shit, dude, it fucking works like a charm. Kill. Holy shit, I like this machine gun. It's fucking dope. Getting carried away, aren't I? Also, this fucking sucks because you can't actually cover yourself. You're pretty much screwed if you get shot at. Pretty much screwed if you get shot at. Yeah, pretty much screwed if you get shot at. That's why you need this shape right here. Whoa. Too crazy. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck berries. Oh, shit. Sliding down the chair. What the fuck? Machine gun. some machine guns installed. It's actually pretty brilliant. I do like that. We need to put some heavy armor panels underneath that because it looks fucking stupid, you know what I mean? You know? Inside the driver's seat. Press 1, rotate. Press 2. Press 3 for more information. Press 5 for kidney stone. Press 6 for Adidas kicks. Oh my gosh, I'm just getting carried away with this machine gun, aren't I? Yeah, just get carried away with machine guns, guys. It's very typical. Don't mind me, we're not in California. Hey, there is California compliant machine guns, but they're machine guns. So what I mean is, they technically can't be California compliant, but they use them in tanks, you know what I mean? It's a machine gun with a twist that the grip on it is absolutely ass, and the trigger is too. But it's basically almost a hunting rifle grip. And it's got a trigger that's like a Xbox remote, but it's still able to be a machine gun. I'm gonna go to sleep probably. Done enough talking about stupid bullshit.